Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Maples again, and I'm here with another installment of the Philosopher's Corner. So I want to first off welcome everyone and thank everyone who has watched. And I wanted to go over some general questions that seem to be coming up, especially as it relates to the anxiety this whole pandemic is causing on a worldwide scale. And so first and foremost, anxiety is a natural reaction anytime we're faced with the possibility of physical illness. It's imperative at this time, really, to care for your physical health as well as your mental health. And anxiety is sort of a byproduct of our physiological reactions towards environmental stress. And so, what happens within this within the idea of a pandemic or epidemic is this causes a direct threat to our physiological well-being. And anytime we're physically sick, we understand at a very experiential level that we aren't feeling emotionally well either. And this is where that anxiety and that fear begins to rise. And so part of the natural course of this is really to take care of your physiological health during this pandemic. And don't underestimate the capacity a virus has to attack a weakened body. And so part of this really comes into an ideal of stress mitigation. When you're stressing yourself due to external news, whether it be this epidemic, whether it be watching too much news in general, politics, or whatnot, it really causes a physiological reaction for stress to begin to weaken the immune system. And one of the telltale ways that a virus is able to overcome its host is through a weakened immune system. So part of this is an attempt to try and mitigate the levels of stress that you have. And I know that this can be difficult right now because we're bombarded with news in every single direction that we look. And it causes us to get anxious. Who has this? What are the effects of it? And while it's normal and natural to begin to have fears arise, really we need to begin to control the sources from which the stress is coming in. And so part of this control mechanism really is to try and find some habits that you can begin to rely on during this time of uncertainty. Trust me, we're all stuck in the same boat together. Even the doctors that are studying this, this is brand new, and they're giving information as soon as they're able to get it. And so really it's a process of being in this together and really trying to mitigate the effects that are there. And first and foremost, where we can begin to mitigate these effects is really in the capacity we have to follow what they're asking us to do, stay at home, try and commune as a family, find new ways to begin living. Now, this is somewhat unnatural because we aren't used to living with spouses, even children, for 24 hours at a time. And so when you begin this process, it is going to be anxiety provoking at first. But then there's some ways that you can begin to look at this from a cognitive perspective that will help you mitigate the effects of stress that are there. Number one, find blessings in what it is you have in the moment. If you're feeling healthy, be grateful for it. Conduct gratitude prayers. Be grateful for everything that you have. If you're cooking a meal for your family, you get to have a meal with your family. Now, part of the gratitude exercise is really a foundational belief of letting go of that psychology of striving, that I need more, I need to get more, I need to do more. Right now, we're so used to being on a heightened strive basis, striving for more. When we're actually asked to relax, we're thinking, oh my God, what do I do? I'm going through it myself. And so when we have that, oh my God, what do I do? It really takes me back to this ideal of we engage a psychology of striving, but to what end? We need to have a psychology, like Dr. Wayne Dyer would say, of arriving. We're here. Okay. We're here. What can we be grateful for? What can we do in this moment that brings a sense of joy, that brings a sense of life, that brings a sense of love to not only our own personal being, but also to the ones that we love, our children, our spouses. We need to get to know them again. Now, we've been separate from them due to work or whatnot for a long time. Well, in that capacity, we forgot who they are. And so when you begin to work and know one another again, it's a process of reintroducing yourselves. And you may, oh, I didn't know this about my spouse, or oh, I didn't know this about my children. And they may be, oh, I didn't know this about my parent. And so part of it's a learning exercise that could be fun, to get to know one another, reignite the love, reignite the passion, bring it forward. And so part of this is really taking a look at these things with an attitude of gratitude, a psychology of arriving, not striving. And so the second part that really helps, again, it's setting up rituals around this. It's finding your own health habits or your own happiness habits. One of the things that closed in California that was a profound influence in my life is the gym. And I love the gym. I love working out. I love running. I love weights. And now the gyms aren't closed. And I wouldn't even recommend going to one until we get this thing under control and we begin to understand what's there. Luckily I have a treadmill that allows me to continue to run, and that really releases the endorphins. And on a daily basis, these are your feel good chemicals. If the endorphins are releasing, you're beginning to feel good about yourself at the physiological level, which in turn affects the psychological level. So running allows you to breathe. Which begins to regulate the system. And the reason why I did the breath with you, it's really a process of just breathing and being and breathing. When we begin to ritualize this, we begin to step into ourselves. We may feel good. We may get a head rush going, and that's because your brain loves oxygen. Okay. And so when you're beginning to focus on breath, or you're inducing it through running or exercising, this is imperative because it's releasing the endorphins through the body, which helps control anxiety through your autonomic nervous system. And so one quick way, even if you don't want to run to control breath or whatnot, you can begin meditating. And a quick way to do that is simply just to focus on a time count. On Google, they have metronomes that you could utilize to do 1 beat per second. And so a simple exercise such as that would be to meditate on breathe in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. The key here is to breathe in through the nose and out the mouth in a rhythmic fashion, allowing no pause between your inhale and exhale, exhale or inhale. You do this about 15 to 20 times. What will happen is you'll begin to feel lightheaded in the frontal lobe. What happens is the oxygen's coming in through the lungs, shooting directly through the head, and your brain loves oxygen. It will just soak this up all day. And what happens when the brain gets satiated with oxygen, you'll begin to feel it move down the natural path of your limbs, because once the brain has enough, this is your command center. Once it has enough, it begins releasing extra stores through the rest of the body to non-essential parts. So you'll begin to feel tingling going through your arms and maybe even your legs. You practice this even more, what will happen is you'll go into a very trance-like state that allows you to just be. No emotions. And even if thoughts come through the head or begin to wane, just focus back on the rhythmic breathing in. 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. And what happens with time is this becomes a practice, and it becomes a practice in happiness. Not necessarily happy like, ooh, I'm going to Disneyland type happy. Missing my favorite theme park. We miss you, Mickey. But also in a general sense of being content, not excitement, but you know what? I'm good with what is. Look at the beautiful sky. I haven't seen the sky this clear for as long as I could remember. Has anyone else had that experience moving along? It's clear because we're staying home. We're getting back into touch with ourselves. And maybe there's some silver lining in all this. I know there's a lot of anxiety going on, but there is some silver lining. And part of that happens by learning ways to take care of yourself. We can't expect others to do this for us. We need to learn how to do it for our own. And so I thank you guys for watching. Today's topic was on anxiety, coronavirus, and tending to your mental health. There's a lot of different things you can do, and I'll be focusing on this as we move along. And I want to thank y'all for watching. And if anyone has questions, I look forward to hopefully answering them in a future topic. I'll talk to you soon. And until next time, I hope you all advance confidently in the direction of your dreams. Thank you.